Welcome to everyone, and hang on, I still have to click here and here. And this is what I would like to talk about today. And I choose the German version as a theme because it is, it's a little bit confusing, because if we talk about football, you might think as Americans about American football. We call it Fußball, you call it soccer. So please forgive me when I'm, during the lecture, mix up in between soccer, Fußball, maybe football. Okay. And yeah, to play soccer or to do sports in Germany, it's a little different system than in the United States. You don't do it in school, you join a club. And altogether in Germany, we are 81 million inhabitants, and 24 million Germans are members of sport clubs. That means almost 30%. Yeah? And that means that the biggest soccer association in the world is not in Brazil, it's not in Argentina, even if they have more inhabitants. No, it's in Germany. 7 million people are members, including me, by the way, are members of soccer clubs. And that means here 149, almost 150,000 teams are playing on a regular basis each weekend. Very sad at the moment, not because of Corona. What I would like to talk about in this is what soccer means to Germany. Yeah? I'm here in Germany, so I'm calling you from Berlin. There's a star in the middle, this country here in the heart of Europe. And I would like to share a little bit about why football, soccer is for us so important. Not because of that time, because we have to face the first thing we see here is a game in between Germany and England. England is always the top trophy to get, because England, this is where soccer comes from. Yeah? And this is in 1938. It's the Olympic Stadium in Berlin, but it's still existing and is used as a soccer stadium. And England is invited to play here. And I couldn't mention at the beginning, but when the national anthems were played, also the British team raised their hand to greet in the way that we recognize as the typical greeting during the fascist period in between 1933 and 1945 in Germany. This is a period that gives us a very heavy heritage. And in 1938 was the soccer game, and in 1939 Germany started the Second World War. This could be an image also of my father. My father was born in 1912, so at the time he was 27, and he was a soldier in the army. And our army marched into Poland and bombed the cities in England and marched into Belgium, later on in Russia, did a lot of war crimes. Yeah, and altogether, we, our ancestors, our fathers and grandfathers, directly or indirectly as perpetrators, are responsible for the elimination of 6 million European Jews. This is something that Germany is connected to. So when the war was over, it was not only this heritage that we had to carry with us, but also a country that was completely in ruins. This is Germany in May 1945. This is what the war brought also to us. And it brought also 16 million German people from former German territories that had to move as refugees into central Germany, into the Germany that it's the Germany that we know now. So to build up a future, to have some hope was quite difficult. At first, this country had to be rebuilt, and it was mainly done in the beginning by the women, because my father, for example, was a prisoner of war. He was not home in 1945, but my mom could be the lady that we see here on the picture. She was born in 1925, so in 1945 she was 20 years old, and with their hands they cleaned up our country. And then the years are going by. We try to come back to normal life. Normal life means also playing soccer. This is what the whole world is playing in the streets. Our fathers are coming back from war, from the prisoners, from the prison camps. And it's not that easy also for the children to accept these strangers that are their fathers. This is a film that is done in the 2000s, and it's called The Miracle of Bern. Bern is a city in Switzerland, and we will see in a moment why it is the miracle of Bern. Because in Switzerland, 1954 is held a World Cup. A World Cup, and Germany sends a team over there. It's the first time that Germany sends a team 9 years after ending the war, losing the war, and being completely destroyed. And Germany, as a total miracle, makes it to the final. That's still in our days, we call it the miracle of Bern. And then they had to face the Hungarian team. The Hungarian teams were the champions of that year. So Germany actually had no chance at all. And Hungary scored already in the first half twice. We see here the first goal of Germany in the second half. So a soccer game is always twice 45 minutes. So in the second half, Germany scores for the first time. There is growing hope. It's 2-1 still for Hungary. And then comes the 2-2. And then there are 6 minutes to play. And we all know from documentaries, I was not born there at that time, we know this. Rahn könnte schießen, Rahn könnte schießen, Rahn schießt und Tor, Tor, Tor. Germany is Weltmeister. And this is something that for the first time really Germans can laugh, can show pride, can celebrate together, are recognized by the world for something else than going on war, being responsible for 50 million people that died in the Second World War. The team is coming home, and the country is really celebrating. But now we could think about the country goes a happy way, but it's not like this, because you might have heard it, Germany was divided in between 1945 to 1990. And first of all, in between the different sectors and the allies that won the Second World War, we have the red zone, which is the Russians, we have the British, the French, and down yellow, the American. And in the middle of the red zone, we have Berlin as well, with a special status. The city is divided also in 4 parts. And then by 1953, there is a fence built in between the East and the West. Now there are 2 separate countries, West Germany and East Germany. And then finally, even in Berlin, on the 13th of August 1961, there is a start to build a wall. A wall starts with a fence, and this fence is around West Berlin to make it for us people, I grew up in East Berlin, to make it impossible to walk over to the other side to our relatives in West Berlin. This becomes then really a wall that finally looks like this, like a high security prison camp where I grew up into for 27 years. So this is our reality of a divided country. On the other side of the country are our relatives. This is what I said. And there's Tante Lily. Tante Lily, Aunt Lily, she made it in 1953 to escape when it was still possible. And at the end of the 1960s, beginning of the 1970s, she is allowed to visit us for the first time in East Germany. It's the first time and the only time I meet her in 27 years. And what she brings over here and is our matchbox cars, you know, but more than even the car itself are the colors. I get my first tape recorder, and with this, I know you will laugh now about this photograph over there to the side. Okay, but I become a cool guy. But also in the parcels, what is there are chocolates. I'm not a big fan of chocolate, not even today, but inside the chocolates, there are stickers. And this is what it's all about. And these stickers are for a scrapbook that then will be sent by a parcel illegally smuggling from the west to the east. And I still have it. And it's about the World Cups in 1966, 1970, and 1974, where the West German team is playing into. And now comes something really, really unique. East Germany makes it also to qualify for this World Cup, the one and only time during the existence of East Germany. And they have to play against each other during the qualification. We see here with the white shirts, the West German team. In the first half, nothing happens. West Germany is totally strong and should win the game. They are the one that are hosting this World Cup as well, and they are the one that should win this game. And the West Germans, the Germans hope they will also win the championship. But something else happens. And you see it here. In the 73rd minute, this guy from Magdeburg, Jürgen Sparwasser, scores the goal. And East Germany is winning against the other country, against our enemies. This is what our government is telling us, against West Germany. So this is a milestone in our history together. And I remember this game totally, as I remember this game. To see it, this is then the final. West Germany makes it to the final, and they have to play against Holland. Holland at that time was the best team in the world, definitely. And they score 1-0, but then already in the first half, Paul Breitner makes it to score as well. And then comes the scene, and I remember it, being on the screen and screaming, Müller, Müller, she's. I watch West German TV. This is also totally illegal. But West Germany wins, and for the second time, they become world champion in soccer. A moment where you see also here on these images from the stadium in Munich, German flags, something totally unusual at that time just for a soccer game. But the country is still divided, and I want to show you a little film here about 1989. So we make a big step. We are 15 years ahead. This is East Berlin. And in East Berlin, the people, including me, are starting to demonstrate in the streets. This is something totally new. And the government, who faces the situation, on one hand, the capital is totally, the country is totally broke. On the other hand, there is a kind of uprising. They announced that the wall, in this press conference we saw before, the wall will soon open. The people go on the night of the 9th of November, 1989, to the wall, to the checkpoints, and they scream, open the gate, open the gate. And what happens is that at 1:45, they open it. Without any order, without really a permission, it happens because millions of people are ready for this moment. It changed the world, it changed our life, and it brings Germany again together. This will take still a moment because this was 1989. In 1990, in the home country of my wife that I haven't met at that time, the World Cup is held in Italy. Germany makes it again into the final, and they have to play against Argentina. The game is like this, but then finally we get a penalty and Andi Bremer makes it. Germany wins for the third time the World Cup. But to be precise, West Germany wins for the third time the World Cup. This is 1990. The wall is down. I can go over to West Berlin. I can travel to France, but Germany is not united yet, because this happens 30 years ago, this year, we celebrate this in October 1990. Germany becomes finally one country again. And now starts the good time of Germany. The last 30 years, I would say, are really the best years in German history ever. There's no good old Germany, there is a good new Germany. And with this, Germany host the World Cup again in 2006. Now you will not see any players because I want to show you something else. I want to show you how Germany celebrated and hosted this World Cup. And finally, the people from all over the world that came here told us something that we couldn't understand, because they told us, you know, you are really cool. Who? You Germans. Why? I mean, the way you celebrate here in the street with all us, but we thought we are Nazis. Yeah, sure, you were Nazis as well, but even with this, I mean, and we were quite surprised. It is also the time, 1 year before, Angela Merkel, our chancellor, she's still in power. 16 years this country is ruled by a woman. Yeah, and she's a fan of soccer, and she is joining the team which wins only the bronze medal because Italy is winning in 2006. Let's not talk about this, but let's talk about what we invented at that time, which is called public viewing. We have a huge area, we see the Brandenburg Gate in the back, where we come together to watch soccer together and to celebrate and show German flags and German colors, because we start again to have a different feeling about our country. And we share this with guests. I don't know, Nancy, if you are there, Amy, if you are there, here we are. And Mary, I know you are there. Greetings to Roman. And these are my guests from Passports we travel with every 2 years when we have a World Cup or Euro Cup. We now are going for the public viewing, like here in the Munich Stadium. And we take the students with us, and it's a big thing. And we had to be us. We will travel together in 2022. There will be another World Cup. So I'm looking forward to this. And then, ladies and gentlemen, you might have heard about this. In 2014 in Brazil is a World Cup. And Germany puts really the crown to it all. And finally, we have to play against Brazil. Brazil, 5 times winning the World Cup till now. #1 in the world, hosting the World Cup. And we have to play against them in the Maracanã Stadium in Rio de Janeiro. And Germany wins 7-1. We feel a little sorry for the Brazilian, but for us, yeah, it brings us into the final. There we have to play against Argentina. We were lucky with Argentina 24 years before, and here it seems we are unlucky. No, this goal was offside. And then finally in the extra time comes the goal that changes everything. 1-0. Germany is for the 4th time world champion. And we do it in Brazil, in South America, where never, ever a European team has won a World Cup. And this is really like, yeah.
Their victory lit up the sky and lifted the hearts of a nation. But there was lots of angst, then extra time, then the one goal of the game, the only one Germany needed. When it was over, many fans swore they were never in doubt.
Sure, it's good stuff.
A victory for a team and for a country. People are often wary of showing too much national pride. But not here, not now, not on this night.
I'm so proud to be a German people. It's fantastic to be German. So proud of
Yeah, Weltmeister. So this is the new generation, and let's change the subject. I was beginning to talk about all the soccer clubs that we are joining, and what Sarah doesn't know is we both are also members of this club. We have the Corona crisis at the moment. The teams cannot play, but they need money, and the money comes in with the membership. And so this is the team of Union Berlin. And we don't join it because it's such a great team. By the way, they made it now to the first Bundesliga, but it's about, and that's the team, and these are our players, and they are doing quite good if they are allowed to play. They were winning against Borussia Dortmund this year. Okay, very good. But it's more about the fans. It's the fans, it's the atmosphere that makes it so special and unique and a family. So they were already playing in East German time because it's from East Berlin, a club. They were doing so, but already at that time, the fans and the atmosphere were important. And it was always the team of the underdogs, always the team of the people that were not really fitting into the system, that looked for something alternative. As you can see me, I could be here into this picture because it's really the kind of style. And now in our days also it stays like this. When the stadium needed a renovation, it was done by the fans. The fans went there on the weekend to renovate the stadium. And then we have something, we invented also something for the public viewing. When there's a World Cup or whatever, we change our stadium into our living room, which is also all the other times. But now we take sofas into, and we watch the public viewing with sofas in our stadium. And but the most emotional thing, and I want to show you now at the end a little film, is that we come together there on the 23rd of December, one night before Christmas, to sing Christmas songs. And that means 22,000 people for free. The most of them are not really religious. The most of them are soccer fans, but part of the family, and we do the Christmas celebration. Okay, and with this, I would like to thank you for your attention, and as you see, getting ready for Union Berlin. Stay healthy, stay human. Greetings from Berlin, and thank you very much.